The restaurant is quiet, except for the soft hum of conversations. The clinking of glasses and the occasional sound of cutlery against plates fill the air. The lights are warm, casting a golden glow over the neatly arranged tables. A young waitress, Mia, moves between tables with steady hands. She carries a tray with practiced ease, balancing glasses of water and small plates. Her uniform is crisp, though slightly worn from long shifts. Mia works quickly, but not rushed. She greets each guest with a polite smile. Some nod in return, others barely look at her. It doesn't bother her. She's used to it. The other waiters and waitresses respect her. She never complains, even when the work gets hard. She never snaps, even when guests are rude. Today seems like any other day. The tables are full, the smell of freshly baked bread drifts through the air, the soft melody of a piano plays in the background. Mia takes a deep breath and moves to the next table. She has no idea what's about to happen. The soft chime of the restaurant door rings. A woman steps in, dressed in a designer outfit from head to toe. Her heels click against the polished floor as she walks. Her name is Victoria. She holds her head high, scanning the restaurant with a critical eye. Her diamond earrings sparkle under the warm lights. Her handbag, worth more than most people's rent, hangs from her arm. The hostess, a young woman with a friendly smile, greets her. "Good evening, welcome to Le Grand Dining. Do you have a reservation?" Victoria barely glances at her. She exhales sharply, as if the question itself is offensive. "Obviously," she says, pulling out her phone. She scrolls for a moment before showing the screen. "Table for one, under Victoria Sinclair." The hostess checks the list and nods. "Right this way, Miss Sinclair." Victoria follows, her eyes scanning the tables as if she's inspecting them. The restaurant is filled with well-dressed guests, yet none seem good enough in her eyes. The hostess stops at a table by the window, one of the best seats in the house. She pulls out the chair for Victoria, gesturing for her to sit. Victoria frowns. "Is this the best you have?" The hostess hesitates. "This is one of our finest tables, ma'am. It has a beautiful view of the city." Victoria sighs dramatically and sits down. "Fine." She tosses her handbag onto the table, ignoring the hostess. The hostess remains professional. "Your server will be with you shortly. Please enjoy your evening." Victoria doesn't respond. She's already scrolling through her phone, her fingers tapping impatiently against the screen. She looks around the restaurant again, sighs and mutters under her breath. "This place isn't as exclusive as I thought." Mia checks the next table on her list. The new guest is sitting by the window, scrolling through her phone. She takes a deep breath, smooths her apron, and walks over. "Good evening, ma'am. Welcome to Le Grand Dining. My name is Mia and I'll be your server tonight." Victoria doesn't look up. She keeps scrolling, tapping her nails against the table. Mia waits a moment before continuing. "Would you like to start with a drink?" Victoria lets out a sharp sigh, as if Mia just interrupted something important. She glances up briefly, eyes scanning Mia from head to toe. "I'll order when I'm ready," she says flatly, waving her off like an annoying fly. Mia nods politely. "Of course, take your time." She steps back, giving Victoria space. She has dealt with impatient guests before. It's nothing new. Victoria taps on her phone for another minute, then suddenly calls out, "Waitress." Mia turns back quickly. "Yes, ma'am?" Victoria finally looks up. "Is there another server available?" Mia keeps her expression neutral. "I'll be taking care of you tonight, ma'am." Victoria raises an eyebrow, unimpressed. She looks around the restaurant as if searching for someone else. "There's no one else?" Mia's grip tightens on her notepad, but her voice remains steady. "All our staff are busy at the moment, ma'am, but I'll make sure you have the best experience." Victoria scoffs, shaking her head. "Great." She picks up the menu, flipping through it lazily. "Let's just get this over with. What do you recommend?" Mia gives a polite smile. "Our chef's special tonight is the black truffle risotto. It's a favorite among our guests." Victoria stares at her for a moment, then smirks. "Risotto? That sounds like something you'd eat at home, not at a high-end restaurant." Mia stays composed. "We also have a dry-aged steak, prepared to your preference." Victoria rolls her eyes. "Fine, I'll have that." Mia nods and notes it down. "How would you like it cooked?" Victoria sighs loudly, as if Mia is making things difficult. "Medium rare, and make sure it's actually cooked properly." Mia stays professional. "Of course, anything else?" Victoria waves her hand dismissively. Just get on with it. Mia turns and walks away, her expression calm. But deep inside, she knows, this is just the beginning. Mia walks back to the kitchen, handing the order to the chef. She takes a deep breath, shaking off the tension. She has dealt with difficult customers before. This is nothing new. She grabs a glass, fills it with water and places it on Victoria's table. Here's some water while you wait for your meal, ma'am. Victoria barely acknowledges it. She picks up the glass, looks at it, and frowns. Do you always serve water in these cheap glasses? She mutters. Mia keeps her tone polite. This is the standard glassware we use, ma'am. Victoria lets out a small laugh. Figures. She swirls the water in her hand and places it back down, unimpressed. Mia ignores the comment. Would you like anything else while you wait? Victoria looks her up and down, then smirks. You know, I expected a certain level of class in a place like this. Mia tilts her head slightly. I'm sorry. Victoria leans forward, lowering her voice just enough for only Mia to hear. I mean, look at you. Do they not have a stricter dress code for staff? Mia stands still for a moment. She glances at her uniform, clean, pressed, just like every other server's. She keeps her voice neutral. This is our standard uniform, ma'am. Victoria sighs, shaking her head. Well, it's not very refined, but I guess that's expected. Mia's hands tighten slightly around her notepad, but she keeps her face calm. I'll be back shortly with your meal. She turns and walks away, feeling Victoria's gaze still on her. She's used to difficult customers, but this feels different. Other guests nearby glance at her, some with sympathy, others avoiding eye contact. Mia doesn't react, she keeps moving, just like she always does. But something tells her, this isn't over yet. Mia steps behind the counter, taking a deep breath. She fills another order, pushing Victoria's words out of her mind. She has dealt with rude customers before. She just needs to get through the shift. A few minutes later, she grabs a tray with Victoria's drink and walks back to the table. Here's your drink, ma'am. Victoria picks up the glass, swirls it, and sniffs. Her nose wrinkles immediately. What is this? She asks sharply. Mia stays calm. It's the drink you ordered, ma'am, a fresh squeezed lemon spritz. Victoria sets the glass down hard, the liquid sloshing slightly. This doesn't taste right. Mia blinks. Would you like me to replace it? Victoria exhales dramatically. You know, it's really disappointing when people can't even do the simplest things right. Mia nods, staying polite. I'll have another one made for you right away. She reaches for the glass, but Victoria doesn't let go. Instead, she looks Mia straight in the eye and smirks. I don't know why I even bother expecting good service from people like you. The words hit Mia harder than she expects. She feels her stomach tighten. Nearby, a couple glances over. A man at another table frowns, shifting uncomfortably. Mia forces herself to stay calm. I'll take care of it, ma'am. She takes the drink and walks away. Her footsteps steady. But inside, her mind is racing. The bartender notices her expression as she hands over the glass. Everything okay? Mia nods quickly. She just wants a new one. The bartender looks past her at Victoria, who's scrolling through her phone, her lips curled into a satisfied smile. Mia takes a slow breath as the bartender remakes the drink. She doesn't let her hands shake. She doesn't let her face change. Because this isn't the first time she's dealt with someone like Victoria. And it won't be the last. Mia carries the tray carefully, balancing the plate with ease. The steak is cooked exactly as ordered, medium rare with a side of roasted vegetables. It looks perfect, just like every other dish that leaves the kitchen. She reaches Victoria's table and places the plate down gently. Here's your steak, ma'am, cooked medium rare as requested. Victoria sets her phone aside and glances at the plate. She picks up her knife and cuts into the steak. The pink center is visible, just as it should be, but she still frowns. She lifts a bite to her mouth, chews once, and then immediately spits it into her napkin. Ah! She groans loudly, drawing attention from nearby tables. This is overcooked. Mia remains professional. I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. I can have the kitchen prepare a new one for you. Victoria rolls her eyes. You'd think a high-end restaurant like this would know how to cook a simple steak. She shakes her head, cutting into another piece dramatically. Ridiculous. And the vegetables? Completely bland. A few guests exchange glances. The restaurant grows a little quieter. The tension lingers in the air. Mia stays calm. I'll let the chef know. Victoria smirks. You should. but I doubt they'll get it right. Mia knows this isn't about the food, it's about power. She returns to the kitchen. She says it's overcooked. The chef sighs but starts again. Minutes later, Mia sets the new dish down. Victoria takes a bite. Nope, still wrong. Mia remains polite. Would you like me to have it redone? Victoria smirks. No, I'd like someone competent. Before Mia can respond, a presence shifts the room. Mr. Carter, the owner, approaches. Is there a problem? Victoria scoffs. Finally, someone in charge. Mr. Carter listens, then smiles. Sharp, controlled. Mia is one of my best employees. Victoria stiffens. Are you implying I was rude? I'm stating it as a fact. Silence. The restaurant watches. Victoria stands abruptly. You've lost a valuable customer. Mr. Carter nods. That's fine. She storms out. Mia exhales. The night moves on, so does she.